They say your early life romance game.
Alright guys, so today we are doing a torque pipe. Got a couple clamps, torque pipe here. I'm going to show you how to put this in a Hyundai Veloster. This is a second gen Veloster. It's going to be the same for the first gen Fortes, first gen Velosters. I think the Optima 1.6 and the Sonata 1.6 have these down underneath the car also. But you are going to want to figure out where on your car this is. So it's just a little pipe and replaces like a little resonator type muffler type. So let me show you how to do this. All right guys, so for this you are going to need a pair of pliers. So you can pull these caps off, and underneath the caps you've got, it seems to vary between 7mm and 8mm underneath these caps. Now this is a piece you're taking out. This is a intercooler resonator type muffler thing. I don't know what it, honestly I don't know what it does. It's just there, and it's been proven if you replace it, it adds like 10 horsepower. I am going to apologize, this car is pretty dirty. Customer lives in on a dirt road, and we got some mud and dirt up here, but ain't going to affect the quality of the install. So let's get started. Okay, these little caps, just grab with a pair of pliers, and you just rock it back and forth. So as you're rocking back and forth, little cap comes off, okay? Underneath there, it's going to expose an 8 or 7mm. I think I got an 8mm on the end of this. Yep, 8mm. So you just want to take this clamp off. You're going to want to take this clamp off. Okay, so you got both those off. Now you want to kind of pull on these rubber pipes, get it loose, try to break it free from the turbo. Now if it doesn't break free, you got to get in there with like a little hose pick thing, just a little right angle pick. And you got to kind of dig it in there and just work it around a little bit. Now you got to be careful when you're working this around. You don't want to poke a hole in one of the rubber pipes. Okay, we got that loose. Let's see if we can pull one of these off. Yep, there we go. So grab this, and we'll get this out. All right, there we go. Just like a muffler. It's just a little muffler looking thing. And so, there you go. That replaces that. Again, we've proven time and time again on the dyno, these are good for, you know, an additional 10-ish, 15-ish horsepower. They really do work well. Never had a customer, you know, call back, be like, hey, I didn't notice any difference. You know, in all the years we've been selling these, not one time have we ever had somebody say, oh, it really didn't make any difference. Almost every single time people are like, yeah, there's a little difference. Okay, so sliding these up can be a bit of a bear. So what I like to do, pull this one down first, slide it in here, get the clamp pushed down a little bit. I'm actually going to go after this a little differently. Set the clamp off to the side. And we are going to slide that in. Now you want to slide it in past the bead roll, and you'll be able to feel the bead roll underneath the pipe. So you can feel the bead roll underneath there. Put your clamp over, like so. Well, kind of like so. May have to loosen this up a tiny bit. Now the clamps we send are in fact 7mm. So loosen this up a tiny bit. So I can get it to slip over that. Alright, there we go. Got that slipped over. Now we got to do the same thing up here. I'll pull this clamp off. I'm going to slide it over the pipe so we can slide it up in there without the bead roll getting in the way. Now, if one of these pipes is just a bear and you can't get it put together, you take just a drop of oil. So I'm just going to get a tiny bit of oil on the end of your finger, okay? just put it around the opening of the pipe, and now it'll just slide right up in there. Again, feel where the bead rolls are. Make sure the bead rolls are on the outside of the clamp. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So I gotta loosen this clamp so it'll fit over the hose. Okay. There we go. Put that over the hose. So now the bead roll, you're gonna feel it as a lump down here inside the pipe. Now this one's down a bit too far. I pushed it up when I was forcing it up, so I want to pull this one down a tiny bit so the bead roll isn't up quite so far. I can feel the bead roll right there. All right. Get up in here, tighten down your clamp. Okay, bead roll, cool. Get it nice and tight. Okay, whoop. And now we gotta tighten up the top clamp. Again, gonna have to see, make sure that bead roll, you can feel that bead roll. This one's gonna be a little bit more difficult to feel because you got a heat shield around it. So, there we go. Okay. So you can just push that one up, force it on a little bit, and then tighten down the clamp. And hopefully my big head's not in the way. All right. Yep. Feel the bead roll. Feel the bead roll. Tighten this one up a little bit more. Make sure you don't blow them off. Now while you're down here, might as well as go through and tighten up a couple of the others. So you got 2 or 3 underneath the car. It's an 8mm. So you just go through and they give them a little snug. Factory clamps are pretty loose sometimes. All right, so you went through, you tightened up a couple clamps underneath the car, you got everything tightened up, you got your torque pipe on. Now if you want, you can go through and put the caps back on. I never bother. They're honestly just more of a nuisance than anything, but put your cap back up if you want. Give it a, you know, tap, tap, tap with the end of a plier, hammer. Get that bad boy tap back up there. That way the dealer doesn't know you've been down underneath the car. How's that sound? All right, so a lot of people have asked me, you know, how hard is it to put a torque pipe in? What is how complicated is it? Right there you saw it took all of 4 or 5 minutes. We did take, there's a big plastic shield that sits underneath here. I took the plastic shield off before we did this. It's a pretty straightforward process. There's about 6 to 8 10mm bolts, some plastic push buttons. If you don't know how to pull the plastic push buttons apart, you know, look it up online. They've got some really good YouTube videos and stuff like that on it. But yeah, pretty straightforward, really easy to do. You can find the parts on damfastdd.com. You can get it with or without clamps. We recommend you get it with clamps. That way you just get more secure clamping load on it and enjoy your 10 to 15 horsepower. Thanks, guys.